If people are talking about a new world order under President Trump, then what was the old one? Well, the so-called rules-based international order was something the U.S. promoted since World War II, when world leaders from the winning countries set up a bunch of new international organizations like the United Nations.
A worldwide rule of reason.
The idea was to encourage cooperation in areas like diplomacy and trade to avoid another world war.
It was this sense that there is a common framework of law, principles, norms, and rules in which countries should engage one another.
Now, the U.S., with all of its economic and military power, was the dominant player in that system for decades.
Being part of an international rules-based system is what made the United States the key economic power for the last, decades and decades.
But it's also been accused of hypocrisy for not always sticking to the rules and values it said it stood for.
Rules-based order, liberal order, they're very Washington-centric ways of saying, the world that the U.S. has built.
So few people expected the U.S. itself to essentially rip up the rulebook in the way that Trump has. It's things like his approach to the war in Ukraine.
Your country's in big trouble. Wait a minute. No. You've done a lot of talking.
Or making U.S. support for NATO conditional on the other members paying more.
I said, if you're not going to pay, we're not going to defend.
And creating chaos in international trade with his tariffs.
Sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something.
With Trump's return to the White House, what we've seen is that the biggest threat to global order actually comes from within the country, which formerly was its champion, a guardian, the one that actually foot the bill for a lot of things.
One could cynically argue that the United States is simply removing the facade, that deep down the system has always worked like this.
We go into a lot more detail in our latest YouTube explainer. Search for Start Here, Al Jazeera.